Welcome to Wing Academy Video, an extension of Wing Academy of Unfoldment. I'm your host, Diane Wing, and my show focuses on how to use spiritual concepts in the real world. We will address issues related to the mind, body, and spirit, discover how to release what holds us back, and ways to come into our power. Learn more at dianewing.com. Today, my special guest is Lana Makara, an award-winning international best-selling author and ghostwriter of 50 titles with 1 million books sold. She has been teaching how to write fiction for 20 years. She's the founding president of Vandella Publishing. Lana has won the National Christie Award, the Literary Titan Silver Book Award, the Book Excellence Award, and a 5-star rating at Reader's Favorite for her historical novel Reaping the Whirlwind by Rosie Dow. She won the Global Book Award and took third place in the BookFest Award for the Englewood Medium and won the Silver Royal Palm Award for her book, How to Write a Novel That Sells. Her mystery series, Colorado, sold more than 250,000 copies. Go to lanamakara.com to download your free video and ebook, your novel notebook, How to Organize Your Materials and Take Your Novel to the Next Level. She's also the host of the podcast, fictionwriterspodcast.com. Welcome, Lana.
Thank you, Diane. I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Me too. So, we've been friends for decades, 2 decades maybe at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's been so much evolution in the publishing industry, in ourselves, in the way that we do the work, in the way that we have created techniques to assist us in doing our writing and our other work, our spiritual work, right? Our connection work. And so with all your accolades in writing, today we're going a little off the path here, but we're going to come back around, folks, so don't get like off center here. We're going to be talking about communicating with your body and how creativity comes from inside of us. I mean, it takes a lot to write 50 books, um, and to market them and to have that you have to be connected to yourself.
Absolutely. It started out as something that I thought would be fun and turned into an obsession. I guess it has to be in order to roll that many out, but yeah, it really did. And then the great thing of it was I got a divorce in 2009. And I had a career I could do. I had something to do because I was a stay-at-home mom for decades. I didn't have any work history. I had nothing. I had my college, but it was 30 years old. I couldn't use it. Um, so the writing took me on in my life. And when I started, I had no idea that it was going to turn into something like that.
Did it come, I mean, you said it started out as a hobby, but like, did it come in? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did the universe go bing, like, you need to try this?
Yes, absolutely. My mother-in-law, who I love dearly, she passed away in 1982. Um, just before she died, she brought over a stack of ladies' magazines, and I had small children, very, very small children, babies, and she left this 6 or 8 stack of magazines on my coffee table. Well, I didn't really care about ladies' magazines. I wasn't interested in that. She picked them up at the library off the free table or something and brought them to me. I have no idea why. But as I was, they were on the coffee table. I picked them up, started leafing through, and just this ad. just popped out at me. It like jumped off the page and it said this big headline. It was a one-page infomercial that said, "You can write children's books." And I read the entire thing and I thought, well, I have all these kids. I had three at the time. Uh, maybe I could write some children's books. I could do that at home, while I'm here with the kids and it might be fun. I was a voracious reader at the time. So, yeah, but I said, no, I don't like to write because in college I hated compositions. I hated college papers. And I thought, no, I don't like to write. So I put down that one. Later that afternoon, next day, whatever, pick up another one, open it up. Oh, there it is again. You can write children's books. I'm like, oh my God. At the third time, I just felt this feeling in my chest, like I could not forget about it. And I clipped out, of course, this is before the internet, clipped out the coupon, filled it out, and mailed it in. And they sent me an aptitude test. So it was this giant fold out page. And I filled it all out, sent it back in, and they said, "You definitely have an aptitude for this. You could be successful." And they had a course, and it was $300 at the
Back
time.
then, that's a ton of money in
It was
82.
so much money.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. And I wasn't working. I was stay-at-home mom, right, the whole time. And I took it to my husband, who was a school teacher. We didn't have much money. Um, and we found the money somehow, and I took that course. And that's how I got started. So that was in 1982. And when I got into creative writing, which I had never done before, I found out I absolutely love creating stories.
We never can tell where the message is going to come from. So, folks, listeners out there, be open because you're not going to be able to predict, like, oh, I need a message, I need a message. It doesn't work like that. Like, sometimes you can ask to get a message, but more times than not, it comes from somewhere completely unexpected. I mean, three times you saw it in a magazine you never would have purchased for yourself. And somebody just plopped them in your house. Like
Yeah,
you had, I mean, three children, three babies, and you have time to read a magazine. Uh, So
yeah,
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so it lets people know that we're all ripe for a new phase, a new transition, right? And you never know where the nudge is going to come from.
exactly. And when something is repetitive like that, it's time to pay attention. Since then, this is now how many years later, a lot of years later, um, I've learned that when I see something repetitive, I wake up because something is there. That was the beginning of the very long, detailed journey for me. And I didn't get published for 14 years. I wrote and wrote and wrote and did not get published until 1996. 14 years later, those
Wow.
little babies I had in my house were teenagers by the time I got published. But it did happen. It did happen. Yeah.
And you persisted. I mean, it wasn't like, oh God, it's been this many years now. I'm just going to forget it. This is not bringing me anything like financially that I need. And then was Colorado your first book or that
Yeah.
series?
The first book of that series was the book I was working on the entire time.
Okay.
Mhm.
250,000 copies, guys.
Yes.
If there are any authors out there, you know how challenging it is to sell that many copies. So, yeah. So this was meant to be. And
Definitely.
you you were working on it the whole time, but at that point, you didn't realize, or maybe you did, where that creativity was coming from. Did you did you feel it coming from inside you? Was it triggered by something that inspired you from outside? Like, how did that happen?
Well, I rewrote the book 5 times. It started out as a modern day contemporary story.
Yeah.
After about the third rewrite, I set it back in the Old West, and I decided maybe historicals would be easier for me to sell, with a publisher. So I was thinking about how to do it better. I was planning and watching and educating myself. I took another writing course later. And by the way, this was adult fiction. It wasn't children's. I did not end up going into children's books. I ended up going into adult mystery slash romance. So there were times when I would get really frustrated. I got so many rejections. I had 19 rejections over the years, and I would get another rejection because, of course, back in those days, we were printing a manuscript on paper, putting it in a box, and sending it to the publisher and waiting a year for a response. So when the rejection letters came back, I would just throw it down and say, I'm done. What am I doing here? And then 2, 3 months later, all of a sudden, I realized my manuscript spread out on the dining room table, and I'm looking at it again. Um, so it was definitely coming from inside of me. I mean, I wasn't even consciously making a choice about it. It just was there. And I always tell my students, if you cannot put it down, you're not making it up. Sometimes we want to tell ourselves, "Oh, I'm just living in a dream world," and sometimes our family will tell us that. But if you can't put it down, you're not making it up. There's something there, something inside of you, and it's time to honor that.
That's a really great quote. That's a really great quote. So, with tuning into your body, how do you use that today as an author, as a person? Um, when you're interacting with someone, how did you begin to tune into your body for information?
Oh, wow, that is another one of those guided stories. And now we're fast forwarding all the way up to 2015, I think. So post-divorce, divorce was in 2009. Well, I think it was more like 2012. It was right around the time we met. Which, by the way, Diane, you are the constant in my life. I think you're the only person I'm still good friends with now that I was friends with back then. My life has changed so much, and when we change, our friends
Uh,
kind of just drift, right? Not you, though.
uh, I'm honored.
So I think you were way ahead of me, and I was just catching up to you. That's that's kind of what it was. Um, so my daughter got very sick. She was graduating from college, and she was really struggling to finish and graduate. And so once she did graduate, she was going to go into master's school, and she literally collapsed in the dormitory and could not stand on her feet. And it took a while to get a diagnosis. She had been going to the doctor and getting no answers. And so I called a someone who did body work to help us because the doctors weren't helping us. We needed something, right? And that woman had really helped me to see that there's so much more going on with the body than just the chemicals. There's energy and her own emotional state, and all of these things were interacting with her. So that started that started it. Well, my daughter eventually moved in with me because she couldn't live alone. She was not able to function. After 5 years, we got a diagnosis of Lyme's disease. So she had undiagnosed Lyme's disease for 5 years. And by this point, her body had just disintegrated. It was horrible, the results, because she had a more rare type of Lyme, which I found out there are 14 different kinds. They only test for two. So the Lyme tests she'd had before were coming back negative, but she had one of the rare kinds. So yes,
Scary.
it was. And so in all of this, she's in terrible pain. She had developed fibromyalgia. She started with rheumatoid arthritis. Um, did not want to take opioids because of getting addicted. And thankfully she never did because now she's doing very much better. But I saw a random YouTube video again, you know, and this guy was he called someone to the front of the room, and it was just a little like 5-minute video where he called someone to the front of this room like a workshop, and they did this little thing with their hands, and the guy did it with him, and then he slapped his knee and he went, "Oh, my pain is gone." And I went, "What?" I watched that video like 100 times. Then I went to his channel. I started watching other videos, and then eventually went to his website. I saw this again and again where he's talking about breaking the pain cycle and how your body has wisdom and all of this. And I ended up going out to California for a week to do a training with him on this method that he had. And it was a combination of hypnosis and body work, energy work. It wasn't just standard hypnosis, but they did use the hypnosis state because then you're going to be more responsive if you're, in your subconscious and not your conscious resisting. So that started it. My daughter started doing Reiki classes, and we just got into the body. I mean, we were really into the body. And so that was life-changing, not only for her, but for me. I learned so much. And now I can tune into my body. If I feel sensations, if I feel certain things, I know that's a signal, and I get quiet and pay attention. It's so important to step away from electronics, stop the conversation you're having, just stop. Take some deep breaths, get really quiet where you can tune in, and then you're going to get information. And there's a really simple technique that we discovered, and it was so fun because we started doing it all the time. We did it in the grocery store. We did it in the restaurant. We did it everywhere. Um,
No limits.
no, no, it was a constant thing. And as a result, both my daughter and I to this day are highly sensitized to, is this food good for me? Is this bar of
Ah,
soap? Is this bar of soap toxic? What about the laundry detergent? Because my daughter was hypersensitive. She was breaking out in rashes. Her body was in so much distress that we had to check everything that came into the house, even perfumes and all of that were in different things like shampoo. We had to be sensitive about. So um, we got really good at this checking, and it's so easy. It's so super simple to do it. Anybody can do it. It doesn't look weird, which is another good thing because if you're in the grocery store, you don't want to look too weird.
right. So when you get, let's call it a hit, because I call them hits when like something grabs my attention that isn't in my consciousness. It's just like, oh, what's this? Okay. And like you said, you have to stop and consider what is going on here. Because it could be a story idea, it could be a warning, right? It could be so many things, but I know certain techniques you can set a trigger for certain, like set your elbow itching if you want to see if somebody's lying or that. I know that's random, but you know what I'm saying. Does it work like that or what? How how did you know that it was a trigger for something like a toxin in a product or
Oh, that's a great question. And it is kind of like the elbow itching thing, but it's a little more nuanced. So basically, it's so easy. When something is okay, your body will sway slightly forward. And when something is not okay, your body will sway slightly back. So what we would do, and we would make positive statements. So we would pick up a bar of soap and say, this soap is good for me, and wait to see if our body swayed forward or back. So that was like baby steps because we weren't able to tune into those feelings without being really bold about it and making that statement and holding it. Now, if I want to see which soap I should buy, which I have my brands now, I know which ones are okay, but I will just point to it and see if I get a sensation of back and forward in my chest. I don't have to have my whole body sway, but I feel back or forward and I know. So I can just go right down the aisle, the soap aisle and just run my finger down and when I go forward on one of them, okay, there's one I can use. It's so quick. But that took a few years to develop. So when I teach someone to do this, I have them make outlandish statements. So if you're standing, you would be standing up to do this. You would be relaxed and also calm and make sure you're not emotional. Everything's calm and quiet. And then make an outlandish statement. I love bleach for breakfast. And feel
okay.
your body will go, whoa, backwards. So you get a sense of it. That helps you to feel the way that the body will move. And then the forward statement, the positive statement would be, "My name is Lana," and then you'll go forward. You know that's part of your identity. That's very true for you. So that's the way we started, and then we'd go to the grocery store. I mean, we're picking up celery and whatever went in the cart was sway tested before we took it home. And that is how we actually cleaned up the environment in the house to find out what were the toxins that were bothering her, what was giving her asthma. She had terrible asthma attacks. Well, there was some perfume stuff in the
Horrible.
house that we didn't know, like dryer sheets
Wow.
that were affecting her. Yeah, she's so hypersensitive in those days, not anymore. But yes, we had to get really detailed with it for her, for her sake. And so now, I pick up something, somebody hands me something, I'm feeling my body. It's going back or forward. But another a really cool way to use this, you can tell if somebody's lying. Yeah. Try that with your teenagers.
So how, what you just say, are they lying and forward or back, or you have to ask something more specific?
Well, when someone is lying, you just simply say, that's the truth. If you say that's
Okay.
the truth and they're lying, you're going to go back. If they're saying the truth, you'll go forward. So, initially I'd say it out loud, but after you get more accustomed to, you can say it in your mind. That's the truth. And if you're watching TV and the politician is talking, bingo. Yeah.
There you go. That's a good daily practice, huh?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This this method is something I actually use, and it's an extension of muscle testing. So there's another one where you go like this, and you say, "My name is Diane," and you pull, and it stays, right? My name is Sophie, right? So you can do it that way. Some nutritionists put, something in your hand and say, try to push your hand down, right? And see if you can keep it up to strength test. Is this supplement or whatever good for you? And then the last way is the sway method, where I always test it first, like, my name is Diane, which way does that go? My name is Sophie, I go back, whatever. But sometimes it switches, and I don't know what it depends on. But it might change, like it might not always be yes for going forward. I just
Yes, I've
I
had
just
that.
like to recalibrate.
Yeah, calibration. Okay, that's such a great point. So the reason I went to sway testing is because I second guessed myself too much. If I would do my fingers, I would be like, "Oh, I faked it. I wasn't, really." But if my whole body was moving, I knew I wasn't faking that. But there are things, sometimes something will happen. It will be like an energetic hit where you come into the presence of someone who's really toxic, or you get news that's upsetting, or maybe you have some trigger that gets activated for some reason or another, and you'll get uncalibrated, you'll get off kilter. So when things that you normally would say, oh, that's not right, but you go forward, well, then immediately I do exactly what you said. My name is Lana, to check. And if I am off balance and not reading correctly, then I make some very strong statements. And I sometimes, I have to admit, use a few bad words. And so I will make some really strong statements. My name is Lana, blankety blank. I am Lana. And I just blast it out until I'm back. I'm back to center, reclaiming myself and my identity because something shifted me off base. So I get back to center, do a couple of tests to make sure I'm there, and then I can go forward with the testing.
Yes, perfect. Yes, that's a great way to, like, you're yelling at yourself. And I do have clients who I've taught these methods to, that said the same thing that you're saying. Like, am I thinking it and then it's coming out in the fingers? Like, so it's better. I think you're right. Like, the whole body method is, well, it's more encompassing. So it's not just here, it's not just here. Yeah. So do you ever use it for story ideas, or, like,
Yes,
am I on the right track?
yes, absolutely. So that's where the creativity comes in because our stories come out of us. They are actually a a living thing, like a thought form that's coming out of us, our energy. And so when I'm creating characters and I have choices, well, should I make this guy a an architect or a CEO of a company? And I will muscle test what's the strongest for the story. And sometimes when there's a fork in the road, they could go on this side, this direction, they could go in that direction. And I'm in tune with my body because it's coming out of me. And this adds a lot of depth to the writing because I believe our essence goes into the work. And if I wake up and I'm feeling off and I know I'm not full on, I'm not writing that day. I don't do this. You got to do 2,000 words a day or 5,000 a day or whatever. I don't do that because some mornings I get up and I'm off and I'm not going to put that into the work. I'm going to wait until I'm on it and I feel that connection.
I completely agree. Whatever vibe you're frequencing that day is definitely going to go into the document, the manuscript. And I mean, it is a major energetic like download for us as writers. And this happens if you're a sculptor, if you're whatever you're working on, your energy goes into it. And so you have to be really aware. It's that self-awareness that's so important. You want it to feel right because the reader's gonna feel it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's an energetic exchange that happens between an author, a fiction author, as well as nonfiction, but a fiction author and the reader. And my desire, my goal, and my value system is that my reader feels some positive shift in their perspective, in their connection, through this process, so that whatever the journey that the characters are on is an opening, an unfolding, a maturing process that then the reader can energetically tap into, not just get
Yes.
entertained by the story.
Yes. Intention directs energy. And yes, our intention for the manuscript, for the reader, like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting so much effort into this, whatever this is? Um, and again, it doesn't just go for writing books, it's for everything we work on as humans. Um, Even in relationships, the energy of the intention goes toward that person, and it has an effect. And so, yes, what effect do we want to have? And I think part of that is writing voice, because I know certain authors, their writing voice doesn't hit me like others, where I'm reading the ones who I love their writing voice, and it's like, you know, you're like really into the story and it's just, it's an amazing, it's an experience. Whereas if I'm not feeling it, I get frustrated and I start skimming. And I may just stop too. Like I read 3 to 5 books simultaneously because if I get bored in a section, I'll switch to something else and come back and see if it was just my mood or if it was the manuscript itself. So, yeah, that's how I manage that. But for when I'm creating, yes, have to be in the right frame of mind, grounded, asking to write through me. My favorite is when you go back and read it and you're like, I don't remember writing that.
I love that. I love that when you go back and you're like, what? Where did that come from?
Yeah. Hey, that sounded good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it does come out. And to use these methods, these techniques to test on a regular basis. And you're right, every time we practice, things get easier, things flow more smoothly, it becomes second nature. So, folks, if you're ready to try something like this, do it regularly. Because, like, the first few times you might get frustrated, don't let that dissuade you, though, and keep at
And if you
it.
can't quit, don't blame yourself.
Oh,
Just
yes.
go with it.
Yes. So I'm going to be on your podcast, the Fiction Writer Podcast, coming up soon. Um, and you've also started a new publishing company to help authors, and um, you have reclaimed a lot of your work. Can you tell us what's going on? Like you have live events going on. Like tell us some of the stuff that's happening.
It's been an amazing ride this past year. 2025 was absolutely mind-blowing for me. Um, I had 10 of my titles were returned to me from the traditional publisher after they were out of print for more than 15 years. And I had to figure out what am I going to do with these titles. Now, this was the Colorado series that sold 250,000 copies. So I had some value here. They were tested and proven. Why the publisher didn't want to reprint them, I have no idea. They were one of their best sellers of all time. So I waited 2 years and I looked. I didn't want to go traditional again because I lost my rights and I couldn't get them back and all this stuff I went through with that. And then I was thinking about a hybrid, and I've worked with hybrid publishers before, and they do produce a very pretty and beautiful book. But I had 10 and the hybrids were charging six to $8,000. If you do the math, that's a lot of money. And
Yes, it is.
I wasn't gonna put that much money into anything, like
Yeah.
that. Um, so I just kept looking, and I met this guy. I was speaking at an event last year. Um, and this guy was there, and he came up to me afterwards. And what he had done is he actually had the books printed. I mean, he got a printer to create his books. He had a bunch of them in his basement, and he was sending them to Amazon as like a business would send a widget to Amazon to sell. And he was in control of his books, and his day job was a logistics person in a big company. And so he knew logistics, he knew distribution and all of that. Well, I didn't want to print books and put, I don't have a
Yeah.
basement in the first place. Um, but I thought, well, he's doing it himself. I wonder if I could do it myself. And so I went to the Ingram because Ingram is the Amazon of bookstores. And I went into Ingram to see what is their criteria for creating a publisher. What does it take to get in with Ingram? Because they're very picky. And so I found their guidelines, and that became my business model. And about 3 weeks later, I started this company, Vendela Publishing, and I have set it up so we qualify to submit to Ingram. Now, Ingram has a limit on you have to earn or have income to X amount of dollars a year in order to be a bona fide a traditional publisher with us. And so right now we're in startup still, not even been a year yet. But as soon as we hit that mark, everyone in the company is flipping over to Ingram, not Ingram Spark. And right now we're publishing through Ingram Spark. It still goes to bookstores. We're still there, but we're going to go into Ingram eventually. After being with a publisher that knew distribution, I am so passionate about we need to get everywhere, and we will. We will. We're now uploading to 3 different platforms. We have global distribution. We are in the India markets, the China markets, all of that. But I want Ingram. I really want Ingram. So we're going to keep going until we get there. And right now, after we've been publishing for 8 months, we have 7 authors and 10 books contracted. 4 of them have already come out, and there are more coming out now every month. We have a few more. And so this is really going, because here's the thing. Traditional publishers want a lot of social media. They want a lot of email lists, that you have a big email list. Like I'm talking 100,000 or 200,000 on your email list. They want to see hundreds of thousands on social media.
Right. Yeah.
This has nothing to do with the quality of the book.
Right.
And the other piece of it is, after being, here I am getting on my soapbox a little bit, Diane. After being in this industry for 30 years, I have never sold books on social media. I don't know who has. I guess people who have a lot of money to throw at ads, maybe they have. But why are these publishers demanding so much social media presence when we're not selling books that way? I don't get it.
Right.
So with
Right.
Andela, we don't care about social media. I'm not going to
Right.
ask you how many people you have on your mailing list. I'm going to look at the book.
My publisher said the same thing. He's like, "Did you ever buy a book on Facebook?" No.
Never,
It's like, no.
never.
But I think it's a good venue to let people know that either it's coming out or here's the new book cover or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily sell books, to your point.
It
So,
doesn't move the needle.
right,
Mainly, I see social media as just staying in touch with the people that you're already in contact with.
right,
Yeah,
right. And there's always the concern that they can dump your profile if they feel like it. Like they don't even really need a reason.
definitely.
So, yeah, it's better to have your own platform to
Yeah.
reach your folks. So, yeah, thanks all you guys who are out there and sticking with me. Um, so that we can, have a conversation, have these, intimate moments where we share information. It's important. So wonderful. Well, congratulations on everything that's going on with you. If you want more information about Lana's goings on, go to Lana Macara, MCARA.com, and go to the fictionwriterspodcast.com to check out her interviews and tips for writers. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Diane. Always a pleasure.